Hey, everybody. Welcome to round 14, episode 32. 32. That's a good number. So let's see. We have a lot going on. Last week we had Sophia here with me. She did a great job. She got a lot of compliments on Instagram on how well she did and how much chemistry we had together. We should have chemistry. I made her. But it was good. It was a good time. We had fun. She is very up on the movies and stuff like that. So it's kind of fun to talk about that as well. But this week here, what I'm doing with just so everybody's aware of what I'm doing, I'm not going to have rotating guest hosts or anything of that nature. I'm going to be having basically two people. I'm going to have Sophia fill in where she can. She's a busy girl with her job and school and whatnot. And I have another gentleman that's going to be helping me, which I'm sure a lot of you will recognize. And I'm so glad that he agreed to do this with me. Him and I met, God, probably about 3 years ago. Well, I shouldn't say met. We never really physically met, but we did somehow come across each other in the Rocky world. And long story short, we've been, Instagram friends and became Instagram friends. And then we, started, we messaged each other and chatted on the phone a few times and whatnot, and a real good guy and a huge rockhead like a lot of us are. So I'm very happy and honored to have Mr. Rick Babcock be one of my co-hosts that's going to be helping me out here on occasion from time to time. So there is Mr. Rick. There he is.
Tony Casa, my brother from another mother.
I know, right? That was the thing. We found out we had so much in common.
Oh my
it
God.
was kind of crazy.
Crazy. Yeah, definitely separated at birth. No doubt.
It's weird how that happens.
Yeah,
but yeah,
I know.
so I'm so glad you agreed to come on the show. And
it's my pleasure. I love it.
My co-host here and there. Between you and Sophia, I think we got a good thing going. And if you can't do it, she can. If she can't do it, you can.
Yep.
If neither of you can do it, trust me, they don't want to hear just me. So that's got to be somebody else in there. But we have a jam-packed episode this week, guys. We have a lot to cover. We are going to be discussing the Creed films. From Creed 2 and the upcoming Creed 3. And Rick has a lot of stories and information to talk to us about. So it's going to be very entertaining. Sit back, get some popcorn, grab what you got to grab, and let's go along for the ride. So, everybody knows the story of how Creed started, where, Ryan Coogler wanted to make the movie. It took him a long time to talk Stallone into it, which will pop the picture up right here real quick. And I remember seeing that was coming, and it was Apollo Creed's son. And I saw Rocky in the picture as well. And I was just thrilled to see another Rocky movie come out at the time. I'm sure you were as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And he supposedly took a long time to get Sly to agree to do it. He didn't want to do it. It's like a Sly taking on the Mickey role, so to speak.
Absolutely.
But it was finally made and was done, and it was very well done. I thought it was very well done, obviously.
Oh, the beginning, the introduction is, what was his name?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Creed. It's like, oh, I mean, it gives you chills. You know?
Yeah, it does. It does.
It's an amazing intro.
Does.
Love it.
It was great. And it's really cool to see. I mean, at first I was a little, I don't want to say upset, but I was a little, I don't know, because he's not going to be his legitimate son, so to speak. But it took on a very good story, and it almost had to be that way, where he was not his legitimate son, because he probably would have got into boxing a long time ago. There wasn't the, I got to prove it to myself type of deal, live up to the name. It was so well done. And of course,
correct. And it wasn't, I'm sorry.
No.
I was going to say correct. And I believe it was in, Rocky 2 where they showed Apollo's children and they didn't even get any, there was the boy and the girl and they ran through the house and they didn't even get their name on the,
right. And that was it. And it wouldn't have made sense for it to be, that. I mean, think about the age gap. The kids there were just say 10 years old or 7 years old. And that was,
correct.
How many years ago. So it kind of made sense that it was done that way. And it was done so well. It really was. It was written well. Obviously Sly was involved in the writing and so forth, taking on the characters. It was done very well. Sly was rightly so nominated for a Best Supporting Actor, awards. Yes. And won the Golden Globe too as well. It was a very good film. Personally, I mean, I liked Creed very, very much.
Yes.
But when we got to Creed 2 is when I know I'm in the minority, but I liked Creed 2 more than Creed. And I'm not going to lie. It's mostly because of the Drago storyline. I mean, it kind of brought the two of them together. When I say two of them, I mean Rocky and Adonis. Because Adonis wanted to avenge his father's death. Rocky still had some things laying around that were unsettled.
Stuff in the basement.
So it was so well done. What's that?
Stuff in the basement.
Stuff in the basement. Exactly. Exactly right. But you have much more stories to tell about Creed 2. We'll get into the storyline and we'll get into a lot more detail of it. But you have a lot more stories to tell as far as Creed 2 goes. You were there.
Yes. My wife and I were there. It started out as she had told me a couple of times that she had seen some casting calls, online or whatever for filming of Creed 2. And I'm like, it's just a scam, whatever. So one day I'm at work and I popped on Facebook, and I'm not a big Facebook person, but I just went on, I don't know, it was fate, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
And I saw the casting call for Creed 2 and I'm like, what the heck, I'll answer it, So I filled out the information and sent it in and got an instant email back. So then I got excited. I'm like, okay,
yeah, sure.
I have got to be a part of this Rocky universe, whatever it takes. So I look up the phone number and I call him because I'm like, I'm on top of the mountain at this point.
Sure.
And, Jason Loftus, who is part owner of the Huey Loftus Casting Company down in Philadelphia, answers the phone. And I just spill. I'm like, you don't understand. If you saw my basement, you would know, and, I'm like, I got to be a part of this. I said, you don't have to pay me. I don't care. I'll come down on my own dime.
Right.
And they're like, well, we really only want locals. I'm like, look, I will be there for whatever you need me. We will be there, me and my wife. So we sent him headshots and I talked to him a couple times. Like, yeah, come on down. Like, we're going to, it wasn't much. We didn't get paid a lot, Sure. It was enough to cover room and the hotel. And speaking of the hotel, quick funny story. So that day I was leaving work early because I had to take my son
to go to Philly.
No, I had to take him to a college visit in Oswego.
Oh, geez. Okay.
So I called Deb. I'm like, hey, they told us we can come down and we can be extras in this movie. You got to find us a room. I'm heading to Oswego. I don't have time to do this right now.
Right.
So I don't talk to her until I get home that evening after the college visit. I'm like, did you find us a room? Did you find us a room? She's like, yeah. I said, let me see it. So I look at it. I'm like, okay. So that night, I'm in bed. I can't sleep. I'm all excited.
Sure.
And I'm like, well, I know Philly's rough. I know it's kind of a tough town, Yeah. I don't mean any disrespect whatsoever, but I know the Philly.
I mean, you stay on one block, it's okay. 2 blocks over, not so much. No, those are facts. Yeah.
So I'm up, I'm eating my breakfast in the morning and I'm like, you know what? I better do some due diligence on this and check out where the heck she booked us, right?
Right.
So it's in Westchester. Now, Westchester might be beautiful. I don't know, but I call the surrounding precincts around the Westchester area. And every police station I called said, you don't want to stay in Westchester. I'm like, well, where do you suggest I stay? Because she, in defense of her, she booked it because it was close to the studio. It was Sun Studios or something like that. But boy, driving through that area, it was, it was dicey. I was like, wow.
No, I definitely get it. Like when we went up there, we stayed at a hotel in the downtown Philly area, maybe about a mile from the statue and the steps. Mm-hmm. So it was, not too horrible. It was not, it was good.
Right.
Clean, nice area, but we got on a Uber to go to Mickey's gym and different world.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's got heads on a swivel. If I was alone, it wouldn't have been as bad, but I was with my daughter, so I get it. But yeah, she wanted to be by the filming set. So I understand.
Yeah, it was like 10 minutes from the studio. And I'm like, well, it makes sense, but we need to find another spot. So I booked us in Delaware. It was like, I don't know, 20-minute drive, which is no big deal. It was just over the border. It was in a nice place, nice hotel and all that. So it was just kind of a funny haha. So as we're getting ready to leave, I want to say it was around April 24th-ish. I can't remember what the heck year it was now, but anyhow, I just remember that because my daughter's birthday is right around that area, and my son's as well. But everyone in our family, our kids and everyone are like, you don't know what this is about. What are you walking into? What are they going to do? They're going to sell you into sex slavery or something? I'm like,
I know, right?
Well, maybe my wife, maybe your mother, but me, they'll just drop off the boat.
Yeah.
But we're going to take our chances. So we got down there and, we had to be on set at 5 a.m.
Okay.
The very first day, which, now you're talking, you have to be up at 3:30, dry, get yourself dressed with what wardrobe they basically told you to bring or wear.
Okay.
For the most part. And they said, make sure you bring a bunch of different clothes.
Mm-hmm.
So we're on set and they're like, do not be late, whatever So there's a line of cars outside the gate. The gates aren't open. We're like, oh my God, we're going to get fired on the first day. Then we're going to be late, Well, anyway, we get in there. There's like 750 extras.
Wow. Well, sure. Yeah.
Easily all day long.
Well, think about it. It's not like it's the first. I mean, in comparison to Rocky had 50 people in the stands, and they were all fake cutouts of. Portions of video from ball games or whatever, and then you show Rocky 2, and the spectrum's packed. So it's kind of the same thing. I mean, even though on the level of Creed, where Creed had a real crowd, because by this time, of course, regardless of Creed. Adonis Creed, everybody knew Stallone, everybody knew the Creed name, so they could fill up that stadium. But for Creed 2, sure. Oh yeah, I bet.
Oh my God. It was definitely organized chaos. All these tables, you go in, you got to sign all these papers, vouchers, all this other stuff. And then you go into wardrobe and makeup.
Mm-hmm.
And
really?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Cause I was,
so makeup and everything, even as an extra.
Absolutely. Wow. Because,
that's awesome.
Deb, my wife was, a reporter and, they looked at her and they're like, oh, you're fine. just go sit down, and then me, they're like, okay, we got to do some stuff here.
They're like, look, we need Play-Doh in here. We need
get him a bag. Get him a bag. So, they fitted me with funny enough, it was a burgundy sport coat because it was the Barclays Center. So supposedly, and I was stadium security or whatever.
Okay.
So really
let's see. Cool. Let me find the picture of you here. I think this is the one that you sent to me.
That's
there you are right there.
Yep.
Yeah, and there's Dolph Lundgren right there, and you're up right by the ring.
Right.
So now what fight was that? What fight was that supposed to be?
Okay. So that's the first fight between, Florian, who is Drago, baby Drago.
Okay, so Drago and Creed, first fight.
Right. So we get sent to different tables because you're supposed to be, with your group. I'm stadium. She's reporter, so she's over there. And we're like, and then they call her group in first. We have no idea where she's going. We've never done this before, and I'm like, bye. Maybe I'll see you later. I don't know.
We'll see if we'll find each other.
Yeah, if you're sold into sex slavery, let me know.
I apologize.
I'm sorry.
That's great.
And then later on, they bring my group down, and we walk you walk into the studio, and the studio is just a big warehouse.
Mm-hmm.
So actually, let me just back up real quick, is where we filled out all the paperwork and everything. That was where the fight took place in Russia.
Okay.
In Creed 2. That was actually,
so
that would have been
the second fight, so to
that
speak.
would have been, right. That would have been the second fight.
Right.
That's where that took place. That's where we were filling out paperwork. So we go into the studio, big warehouse. They take our cell phones. They put them in lock zippers, the whole 9 yards. Some numbskull was taping, like a week prior, was recording on their phone and then posted it to Facebook. So after that, everybody got their phones taken.
Sure. Oh, of course. Yeah.
Come on,
Surprised they even let them on to begin with.
Right.
Right.
So, I go in, and the enormity of this place, and everything is green. The walls are green. The ceiling's green.
Yeah.
Right. They had this big crane type boom thing that's all covered in green. Excuse me. And then, but they have this, regulation size boxing ring right in the middle of the studio. Mm-hmm. And they got, the chairs all set up and stanchions and ropes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You would think you were walking into what would be a fight minus the green.
Sure.
So they start positioning us into our areas, and they put me in Creed's corner. And I'm like, I am going to be right next to Sly. This is freaking amazing.
That's awesome.
I can't. So we're standing there.
So let's see here. We got this is not the shot that you took, obviously, but
right.
You were probably close to it, right there somewhere.
Yeah, I was I was right in Creed's corner.
That's awesome.
So, as we're doing we're just kind of waiting around at this point. They're like, you stand there, you stand there, blah, blah, blah. So I'm standing there in his corner, and out comes Florian Montagnol. I think that's how you pronounce. I think
so.
How you pronounce his last name? Baby Drago. Victor. He comes out, and I'm just standing there, and this guy is. He's just jacked. Yeah. I mean, look at this guy, right?
There you go.
So it's like 7 o'clock
right there.
Yeah. It's like 7 o'clock in the morning now. It's maybe 7:30. And he walks up to me and he punches me in the stomach. I mean, not hard, but I'm like,
just a little playful. Hey, buddy. Yeah.
And he's like, how you doing? And I'm like, good.
That's so funny.
That was better a minute ago.
Oh man, that's great.
So he goes up into the ring, and he's warming up, and they're doing. It was really neat because they had professional trainers in there showing them different boxing moves, and they were doing stills, photo stills, and when you see him in the ring and he's doing all this stuff, just him. They're filming a lot of that stuff. And then a little while later, Dolph comes out. Dolph is a very, very large man.
Yeah.
He's a very tall man. And I'm in Creed's corner, and I'm just standing there.
Well, again, let's show that other again real quick. I mean, Dolph's on his knee. And Florian's sitting down.
Right.
So that's a big guy right there.
So Dolph walks up to me, and he says, he's looking down at me. I mean, I'm 5'8" all day long, right? And he's like, don't you boo me. And I'm like, what are you, nuts? Boo you.
You got it.
I want to hug you. You're the man. So they were just so nice. They were so
That's
personable.
great that they had fun with it too, and they were nice, and it makes it a bigger part of the whole situation.
Absolutely.
Make it more fun.
We were all instructed and told, don't interact with the stars, So I'm just standing there like,
and when they interact with you, they
interacted with me. I'm like, okay, well, so it was just so genuine, it was just such a cool thing. A little while later, Victor's training staff comes out, and then Creed's training staff comes out, and then Michael B. Jordan finally comes out. He was in his, I don't know what the word is. He's just like,
just a little more professional, not professional, a little more, let's get the job done. Let's not talk to the
fans. He was probably right in the zone, maybe,
Yeah, maybe. Is what it is.
Yeah, he just was all business. And then Tessa Thompson came out, and she was very nice and pleasant. Said hi to everybody. And then so interesting thing about we were there for the first fight. So we were there twice. So the first time we were there for the first fight where Victor knocks Creed to the canvas, and Creed's on one knee, and then Victor hits him while he's down on one knee.
Okay. Yep.
So that's the fight that we taped. Now, if you think back to the movie, I'm going to say that whole 2.5 rounds, 10 minutes out of the movie, maybe, if that.
Yeah.
So this is kind of, to me, staggering. 750 plus extras, plus all the crew that was there. And there was a lot of crew. Sure. All the food that was, and again, the food in the bathroom breaks were another thing. That was catch as you could.
Right.
That took 4 days to film.
Oh, wow. Well, they do say that. They say that I believe it's every minute of film is almost an hour. I believe that was what I heard when I was on a Warner Brothers lot tour, studio lot tour. Every hour of film is a minute, but I don't know. So, I mean, having said everything you've said, and of course been there and seen everything, obviously Creed 2 is a little more special place in your heart than Creed is. Discussing the actual movies, do you feel more about that movie than you do about Creed? Not because, take away your interaction.
No, I actually, I felt that the Creed 2 movie, I really do enjoy Creed and Creed 2. Don't get me wrong. There's always going to be a special place in my heart, and that with the Rocky universe, we will always bleed Rocky, right?
Sure.
I felt that Creed 2 could have been so much better. There was so many, and as you know, because like me, you probably went on YouTube or whatever and saw the deleted scenes that were out there.
Yeah.
I was a part of, I should say, Deb and I were a part of a deleted scene that never even made the B-roll. And that is when Creed is punched when he's down on one knee from Victor. And what happens is, and this was completely unrehearsed. So it was at that time during the filming of it, it was so exciting and it was like so real and so raw because nobody knew this was going to happen. So I was again stationed in front of right by Creed's corner, and there was 2 other security guards next to me. Tessa Thompson, Bianca, comes running and tries to break through us, and we kind of hold her, but then she breaks through us to run up to Adonis's aid.
Right.
Well, while all that mayhem is going on, not only does the doctor, by the way, was an extra.
Really?
They picked him out of the crowd to be the doctor.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. To be an extra and be like, you're the doctor. Okay.
Cool. Yeah, right.
But so like the paramedics go in, the boxing staff goes in, and now the police are going in, and there's just complete mayhem in the boxing ring. I mean, there's like pretend fighting going on, and then everyone's kind of rushing the ring, and it was just chaotic. but it was controlled chaos.
Sure.
And then the director yells cut, and everybody starts cheering and laughing, and it was just so exciting because it was just unscripted.
Yeah.
But it never made the movie.
I know. I wish we've all seen the scene of when they see Rocky sees them afterwards, after the fight in the locker room.
Yes.
And they're sitting there on the bench. There's definitely a handful. I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of scenes that we haven't seen at all. Right. Hopefully they'll do a, director's cut or not even really a director's cut, even if they did a 4K Blu-ray with extra scenes, just so you could see them. But yeah, it makes you wonder why they don't include some of those things in the film.
I mean, think about it. If you had put in, or if they had put in, like if you and I were editing the movie, first of all, there was Rocky and Drago's fight in the hospital.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want to see that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want to? I mean, yeah, it's 2 punches thrown in a shoving match.
Yeah, but it makes sense for the storyline. And I guess that's why I liked Creed 2 better than Creed. Creed was an amazing story because it brought the Rocky world and Creed into today's generation.
Yes.
Like my daughters who are a lot younger, they saw it in the theater. Like I saw Rocky in the theater. So they saw Rocky growing up, but we went to see this in the movie theater. So to them, Adonis Creed is new, which it's their, boxer.
Right.
And it was a great story. It was very well done, especially how he got in touch with Rocky. I do feel it was a little rushed. Creed was from, it was like he was fighting in Mexico and you blink and he's getting trained by Rocky. It was like, a little too quick.
Yeah, that was a little quick. Opinion. Yeah.
But I do like that they did not do anything ridiculous by having him win the championship. It was almost Rocky-esque that he went the distance with Conlon and got the respect that he deserved. And then, of course, Creed 2 comes out and he's fighting for the championship. But the Drago's Creed storyline, which not only was it Rocky and Drago and then Adonis and Drago, and then you had Apollo, and then you had Drago, father to Victor. You had Rocky, father to Robert. There was a lot of parental dad-son storyline going in there, which I really, really liked.
Sure.
I don't care who you are. At the end of that movie, if you have a father at all that you're close to, at the end of the movie when Rocky went to Roberts and saw his little grandson, if you didn't tear up, you have some issues with you.
And was that kid not spot on, like a dead ringer for Adrian?
The casting director it was ridiculous how much he looked like Adrian.
Nailed it.
Ridiculous. But
yeah.
So, I mean, and most critics, I should say, not people, say that Creed 2 is the lesser of the two movies, that Creed is the better of the two. And, they're probably right if you really break down the film and you take out the Rocky fan in me. But I just adore, even the training scene in Creed 2, which I loved that Sly said they did, considering that they had the Drago storyline, they didn't want him to train in Russia. It would have been just a carbon copy. We had to do something different. So let's go polar opposite, and they go in the desert. And that desert training scene. Oh, I mean, that gets you just as pumped up as any.
Oh my God. Hitting the sledgehammer into the sand and chasing the Mustang.
Sledgehammer. I mean, he's hitting the tires. He's running and
put your foot in the tire and, sit there and take your shots.
Well, see, that's another thing about Creed 2 that I like. I mean, there was little funny one-liners in Creed, like when Donnie took a picture of the stuff and he goes, "Don't you want this paper?" He goes, "No, it's in the cloud." And, Rocky's like, "What cloud?"
What cloud?
But in Creed 2, he's like, "You really think that'll work?" And Rocky's like, "I won, didn't I?"
I know. You gotta love it.
Of course it's gonna work. I won.
That's right.
But it just, I don't know. It just really touched me more than Creed did. The training. So, well, think about it. I mean, you're going up against a guy of that size. You don't have the reach on him. You got to get in there.
You got to get inside.
You got to get nice and close and tight and, toe to toe. And
you got to bring the fight to him.
Yeah. Oh, and it was just such the training. And even with Drago's training scenes, the one scene where Victor's in the ring and he's hitting Ivan and, Ivan, like he went to give him the water and he kind of shrugged him off. And Ivan even looked at him like, ease up there, son. I'm not the enemy. They were going at it. Oh, so it's going to be interesting to see where this all leads to the next chapter in the Creed world, which is Creed 3. And, came on and off there real quick. Sorry guys. There you go. Creed 3. Creed 3 has a lot of posters. So I just grabbed one. I don't know what color. Donnie's wearing all kinds of different shorts in every poster he looks at. I don't know. I guess he abandoned the Stars and Stripes, but he, obviously let's tackle the elephant in the room. Sly is not involved in this one.
Yeah.
You and I had a conversation the other day about this, and we definitely agree on it. I'm sorry, but you're Michael B. Jordan's Creed world, so to speak, has been created by Sylvester Stallone in 1975, 1976.
Can I say it? Can I say that?
Absolutely, dude. Go for it.
How do you hand somebody the keys to the castle and lock the door behind you?
I mean, it's just ridiculous. I don't understand. Like when I read that he wanted to, have spinoffs and build this Creed universe, it's not yours to build, brother. I'm sorry, man. A lot of people may not agree with me. A lot of people may take his side because they're not as old as we are and don't really, Stallone is a relic to them maybe. I'm going based on more of the man created it. Came from his head, his heart, his pen. And I'm not going to say that Michael B. Jordan is disrespecting it. I don't think, and I think there's probably, of course, a lot more to the whole entire story than we'll ever know.
Sure.
But in the same respect, he needs to be in it. And I agree. Don't take it away from Adonis Creed. I agree with that. You're going to move on to a new generation. You don't want it to be now he fights Clubber Lang's son, and so I get it.
Right.
I 100% agree with that.
Sure.
But in the same respect, you got to have the man involved somehow. And he even said, Sly said the other day in an article I was reading that he would be involved with Creed 4 if Irwin Winkler was not involved. So
love to see him in it. I love to see him do it,
And I don't think it's more of a Michael B. Jordan Stallone fight than it is the other aspect.
Right. Right. I mean, and again, the producers, the directors, going back to Creed 2 for just a second, do you remember, you touched upon it really quickly, but I'm going to bring it back, was the locker room scene that was deleted. I mean, that was very poignant, I thought.
Oh, yeah.
I felt.
Absolutely.
When Michael B. Jordan, Creed, Adonis, says, this doesn't define us. At the end of the fight, he's sitting there and he's holding his ribs. And Victor is just beat up and he's down, and Ivan's sitting right, Rocky and Ivan have a moment.
They kind of give a look to each other.
A shared look. I mean, oh my God.
I'm very surprised that scene wasn't there because that, like you said, that was such a powerful scene to leave out. I'm really surprised. Yeah.
And then even one more, and then we'll go back. I'm sorry. I told you
that's what the show's about, man. Trust me.
If I get going, you gotta
reel you in. Come on, Rick.
Yeah, I know, reel me in. But like the other one of the deleted scene was the oh shoot, now I'm drawing a blank. Spider Rico's death. What could have brought in from Rocky Balboa to the Creed world, because I remember sitting in the studio waiting to be called up. It's 11:30 at night. We've been on set since 5:00 in the morning. Our days, these were no joke. 12, 13, 14 hours a day for 4 days. But I remember vividly sitting in the back row waiting for them to be filming something where I was supposed to be, overhearing, and this is no secret now. I mean, it's been out for a while.
Right.
But I remember overhearing two of the directors or producers or whatever they are, the people who were on set there in charge saying, "Did you order the flowers for the funeral?"
Mm-hmm.
My jaw drops.
Yeah. My eyes are like, oh no.
I'm like, you better not have killed Rocky. I'm coming through that wall.
And you know what? And maybe that's why he's not in Creed 3. They're afraid to, obviously you can't kill him off, but I don't know, man. It's just, he's got to be involved in this, even if it's a phone call and they're not even on a screen together, hey, Rock, I wish you could come out here. I know you hate traveling. I don't know, something but again, we'll never know the real details of what's going on with all that. It is what it is.
Let me ask you your opinion though. You're not a Rocky fan, okay? Blasphemy, right? But we're not a Rocky fan. Do you go see Creed?
I probably would have. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I probably would have.
But the general population, is it just a boxing movie? Is it going to appeal to?
Well, let's face facts. It was very successful.
No, but I'm saying if Rocky's not in it, if Sly's not in the movie,
right.
The very first Creed, okay.
Mm-hmm.
In my mind, I'm thinking 95% of the people who went to go see Creed were Rocky fans.
Probably. It might even be, it might a notch less, but I agree. The majority, absolutely.
Yeah.
But like you said, if I wasn't a Rocky fan and I saw that come out, I would want to see it. Even if I knew of Rocky, I'm like, oh, this would be kind of cool. Let's check it out. To put that in perspective, that's exactly how I'm handling Creed 3. I'm going to go see it because it's a Creed movie. It's, about boxing. His movies weren't like Rocky was a love story, as we all know, all the true Rocky fans know.
Yes.
The rest of them were Rocky 2 was about redemption. And then Rocky 3 and 4, of course, they were boxing movies and fun movies and whatnot to see. But Creed was more of a, hey, I'm not just nobody. I'm not like he said, I want to show him more. I'm not a mistake, because that's how he felt. I was a mistake, which, technically he was, if you really dig into it.
Right.
And then Creed 2 is about, the father, the redemption of, I did this for me, not for you type of deal. But Creed 3, where are you going to go with that as far as any type of, it's a boxing movie. Right. I'm assuming. But I'm absolutely going to go see it, but I probably would, I liked other boxing films. I like other films that have that, Southpaw. Have you ever seen the movie Southpaw?
Oh yeah, Southpaw is great. I loved it.
It's not really it's not really but it is. And this could be a very good film. Underdog. This could be a very, very good film. I'm not sure if I would consider it to be in the Rocky universe. I understand it has Adonis Creed, and that's it though. If you break it down, there's no Apollo. I know from what I read, Victor Drago's in it in some way, shape or form.
Oh really? I didn't know that.
That's what I read. I don't know, but you know how these things are. Who knows how much truth there is to them. You saw that the guy he's fighting is from his past and he went to jail. Donnie didn't. Mm-hmm. In the commercial, the most recent commercial, you see he's being interviewed on ESPN and he retired. It shows in the commercial.
I did just see that.
Because he says, I know you're through with boxing. So I guess that's how, cause in the one scene, I forget the guy's name he's fighting already. Anderson, I think. Is his name.
Maybe.
He has the belt. So at first I was thinking, well, is it going to be like a Rocky 3 where he beats Donnie for the belt and then Donnie comes back and beats him for the belt? Mm-hmm. But it seems like Donnie retires and I guess then he wins the belt. I don't know. We'll find out, obviously.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how and what I'll think of it. I really don't. Cause again, then you're going to go back to who's training him.
Right.
The boxing movie with the trainer is that relationship is important.
Sure.
It has to be that father figure, that guy who's going to keep you going, kick you in the butt, make you chase a chicken, whatever.
Right. Was it Tony Burton, John?
Yeah. I forget his name.
Baby Duke. Baby Duke. Is it going to be Baby
Duke's
Duke?
Son was there. I mean, he really wasn't training him, but he was there, before. Maybe it will be him. Have you seen the one poster of Donnie and his wife and the daughter? Is the one poster of the three of them.
No, I have not seen that one.
Yeah, the girl, she looks like she's about 10 years old, I'm guessing, which would make sense. I mean, I don't know when, it's storyline wise, I think it'll make sense. And then, of course, she has hearing issues. So, we're assuming she still does.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, we'll see. It might be a good film. It might be well done. I don't know. I won't know until I see it. I can't include it as a Rocky film, though. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's going to be because there's one character.
Yeah.
And even that character is not really even a Rocky character. He's by extension.
Right. It's going to be tough. Yeah. But I do want to see it.
Absolutely.
I'm kind of excited to see it. The previews look really cool. Some of the boxing scenes look really, very interested to see how the story develops,
Yeah. See, that's the thing.
What it's going to
bring. Even with Creed, like, I don't know what it was. Like with the Rocky films, you dove in so deep with them, and you truly wanted Rocky and Adrian to be together, and they belonged together. They were soulmates. They developed together. They fell in love. They grew their life. And I don't know, with the Creed movie, it just seemed like, I don't know, I didn't get as deeply involved in the characters as I did with Rocky. It just didn't seem to, I didn't really I didn't have my heart and soul into these characters and care about them as much as I did in the Rocky films.
I agree with that. And I felt like in the Creed 2 movie, and I hate to keep going back to that, but I felt that if they're going to cut scenes, I felt they spent a little bit too much time with the baby, and the hearing issues and stuff like that. That's my own personal opinion. Okay.
Sure.
I felt it could have been touched on, but other scenes, and again, being a rockhead.
No, you're right. You're right. But you also could put that in comparison of Rocky 2. I felt they took too much time on Adrian in a coma.
It did get a little sleepy. It got a little sleepy.
So I think if you narrowed that down a little bit, I don't mean tremendously, but I do think it would. But again, it worked. It worked. It made you think, is she really going to die? Is she not going to, what's going to happen? Right. And with this little girl, it's almost like that's going to be something that he has to overcome now in his life.
Right.
Because everything was going so well.
But in the day and age of 3-hour movies, 4-hour movies, like the Justice League, the Snyder release, or, the Zack Snyder, I mean, what are you talking? 20 more minutes? If you were to put in the deleted scenes, I felt that could have made that whole.
I never understood why they cut certain scenes and they don't cut certain scenes and they leave certain scenes in. And
I just felt if those 3 were put in there, because every one of them lent something to that movie in its own genuine aspect. Where it would have been
every movie has all those deleted scenes. I mean, we're going way off the track now because we're not even talking about Creed. But when you look at Rocky Balboa, like you said about the Spider Rico funeral scene, they had what John Rivoli posted today, the boxing scene where he's training in the ring and they have opera playing in the background. And it's like, there's a lot of scenes. Like, why didn't you leave these in, man? I don't understand.
I know. Like I said, in today's day and age, when they're making 3-hour movies.
And we're not directing films.
I know. I always said
that could be why.
Just like the government, we just need plain Joe in there to just take care of things.
Let's put
the rockheads in there.
But yeah, you see they're coming out now with the DVDs for Rocky 2, Rocky 3, and Rocky 4. No Rocky 5 and no Rocky Balboa, but they're coming out with a 4K Blu-ray and all those behind the scenes and the extra scenes and whatnot are on those discs. I don't think there's much to some of them, but I'm sure it's most of the stuff we've already seen, but it'll be cool. I think it's the first week in March they come out. I'm not sure. I know it's soon. Really? Yeah. Okay. I don't even have a Blu-ray player, so I got to get one just to watch them.
Yeah. I still have, I'm looking at it from here. My 3-disc set of, Rocky 1, 2, and 3. I got it from BJ's back in.
And had that little box set.
Yeah, the VCRs.
That's the best.
Oh my God, but it'll go into the collection sooner or later, Well,
we'll find out though. I know, I think it's the first week in March, Creed 3 comes out. Like I said, I know I'm going to go. I don't know if I'm going to be running out to the theater the night it premieres, but I will definitely be seeing it, relatively soon after it comes out. Right. I know you will as well, and we could circle back and kind of talk about it at that point. But I'm really glad you joined me, man.
Thank you so much for having me. It was an extreme pleasure. Love to do it again. This was so much fun.
Absolutely. Like I said, I got, you and my daughter. You're the only two that want to put up with me. So I got to.
You're my brother. When you're brothers, you got to do what you got to do.
That's the way it works. No, I do appreciate it, man. Thanks so much. And, we'll see what other episode we'll be doing together, but trust me, there'll be many more.
Very good.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you. I'll see you later.
Bye now.
How cool is Rick? Come on. He's such a cool guy. But no, I enjoy talking to him. We could sit here and talk for hours. We really bore you guys to death. But, thank you so much for tuning in. We talked more about Creed and Creed 2 and stuff again another time, I'm sure, once Creed 3 comes out. And, Rick will definitely be co-hosting again some more episodes soon. Couldn't get that out. Anyway, thank you guys for coming. I appreciate it. See you next week.